All right, what is up, everyone? We're here for the PPL NX Stage 2 Week 5 against Goki Gamer. Make sure you go check them out. I might link the coaches. I know I haven't done it for the other videos. But of course, this ended up being the longest one that I played first when I was sick. And yeah, so you already know how it's going to go. It's going to be a very long game. We have it at like 1.5 times speed, so hopefully we can get through it pretty fast. Goki's team is very interesting. They have a lot of regenerator Pokemon, like basically everything on their squad. And I missed like a turn or two here, but basically I just took a little bit of damage on my Grimmsnarl to start us off. Okay, please stop lagging. Please go through. But they basically have a lot of scary stuff on their squad that we have to worry about. The Sand Slash is super scary for us. Okay, come on, man. If we go normal speed, all right, we are fine here. I guess we'll go normal speed through this entire thing. Basically, they have this spinner that I'm pretty annoyed about them having because they can spin it pretty easily on a lot of stuff on my team. And they can be super offensive versus me. So this Jack Frost is pretty scary. I know this is going to be super scuffed, but it is what it is. They have this Tornadus Therian in the back, which can eat up a lot of my hits. If I get a Toxic on it with my Petron, that'll be super nice though. It's not Covert Cloak because we see the Spadef drop, which is nice for me to know, because I do have Malignant Chain plus Toxic on the set just in case they end up having all that sort of stuff on their squad. But yeah, you can see their whole team there for just a second. Aloe, Jolteon, this Galarian Slowking, I think, in the back there. Just a lot of really nasty stuff. We do stay in as they click a U-turn. I'm just, you know, trying to get a Toxic or a Poison off on anything on their squad while I still can. While I have this Pokemon pretty easily available for me to do that. And it's nice to not be knocked off, but we didn't need it. They are going to go out to their Fezandipity. That's the poison Pokemon they have in the back. The Fezandipity, which is really annoying for me because they're super duper especially defensive. So it's hard for me to, you know, take a lot of hits. And if they do have something like Psychic, Psyshock sort of stuff, they can hit me. They can break my Patea Berry or Pyappa, whatever. I think it's Pyappa. But yeah, I have a lot of options here. You can see I have a Choice Banded Iron Boulder. I also have a Lumberry setup Gouging Fire, which means I can get past like a Toxic Chain if they end up getting it. Trying to just, you know, be a little bit more mindful about the hacks, because like, you know, a Toxic Chain can really turn into a bad time for me. We're going to swap Hard into Iron Boulder. I expected that they could potentially get a Toxic Chain on me, which isn't that big of a deal because we could just break a hole through their team. I know they have Regenerator Pokemon, but nothing really wants to switch into Choice Banded Boulder. Basically everything gets to it KO'd. They do still have the Slowking in the back. So I can Mighty Cleave. I also think Earthquake is very solid versus them if they're switching into anything not named Torn. But they bring in Purple Rain here, which is the Aloe. Yes, that is the Aloe. And this is going to take a lot of damage from the Mighty Cleave. They do not want to take it. I mean, they're fine with it because they're Rocky Helmet, full Fizz Def, and Regenerator. But once I get a little bit of chip, once I get some spikes up, they're really not going to want to because that tells me they're not heavy duty boots. And they can never spin versus my team when I do have the Petron that can easily spin block the stupid Sand Slash, which is their only hazard removal on the entire squad. I also think I'm pretty solid into it anyways. I don't think... Well, I'm a little bit worried that they have Earthquake for sure. But they're Terra Water on that Pokemon in the back anyways. So I think they have to preserve it for my Iron... Not for my Iron Boulder. For my Gouging Fire in case we get set up a little bit. So I'm fine playing like pretty offensively around it, even if I lose my Petron to it. If I get a lot of damage off on the Sand Slash, then I should be free to basically set up one Dragon Dance and sweep through their team. Maybe two if I need it for all the speed control. But they really can't do that much damage to my Gouging Fire. I'm mostly worried about, you know, any sort of hazard. So if they had Stealth Rocks on that Pokemon or Spikes, they would be pretty annoying. And then I'm also worried about getting status or anything like that, which is why we have a Lumberry. So I don't have to worry about it too much. Can potentially set up on Fezandipity. I also have a ton of HP investment on my Gouging Fire, so I should be able to set up on something like the Tornadus if they're not very offensive, which I don't anticipate them being very offensive in this matchup. They're going to send it out here. I live every one hit with my Samurott, and getting up one spike versus their team is so important for me here. so it can be free. I can also click knock, expecting them to go out to like the aloe, get rid of that rocky helmet or anything. They're just gonna click U-turn. It does like really no damage. They're definitely not physically infested, which I didn't expect them to be, but they could have been, which could have been, you know, fun. They're gonna go out to the aloe, so maybe knock would have been solid here, but getting the spike up is super nice for me. I can get this free ceaseless. We actually do land, and although we're taking a lot of damage to the helmet, like that one spike is going to be up for this entire game because they don't have a way to rapid spin versus me. So we're just going to be able to click knock off, get off this helmet, which makes my iron boulder come in way easier. They're going to take some damage from it, but you know, the worst thing they can do is like flip turn out, which is exactly what they do. Maybe if they had play rough, it would have knocked me out there, but that's very aggressive to run on your aloe when you probably want stuff like wish, some sort of water like move, flip turn obviously, and they can have plenty of other options for what they want to run in that fourth. So I'm happy to not see it, but I mean, we could have seen like wish protect, you know. They're gonna go back out to Hawkeye here, and then this is a scenario where obviously I die to U-turn. I can swap into a couple things on my team. Petron is fine. I also know that they're special, so I could go out to like my Thunderous since I'm assault vested. But I choose to go out to my Grimmsnarl since I am built very specially defensive, and it puts me in a position where, I mean, I don't need this Pokemon really, but it does some work for me and kind of forces in a couple of Pokemon. If I force in the Pheasantipity, I can go out to my Petron because it doesn't seem like they have the Psychic move that can really punish me. Worst case scenario would be getting like burned by Heat Wave, but they are parried, so I mean the odds of that are not the best. I also could choose to stay in if I like predict them to double or anything on the Petron, but I think that making this safer choice is just easy for me. I have plenty of health to come by with all these recovers, so I'm not really too worried about it right now. Might be important to note down the amount of recovers and roofs that they have in the late game. They're just gonna hit me with a Moonblast, totally fine. I have a free Malignant Chain here on this turn if I really want it, but I'm anticipating, you know, maybe they end up switching out to the Tornadus, so I'm going to double out with my Petron here. If they do end up hitting me, it's not the biggest deal because I am Assault Vest on this guy, but if we catch them swapping, then it's really nice here. They do stay paralyzed, which is great for me. I'm really just wanted to avoid the Toxic Chain. We get a free knockoff on whatever wants to come in, which is not very many things on their team. Probably the Slowpoke or the Slowking Galar. They might be assault vested in the back, or you know, Black Sludge, something like that. Maybe even heavy duty boots, and getting that off is really nice. We also note that this Pokemon has heavy duty boots, which would be really nice to get off so we can chip it down with the spikes damage, and they can't get around. So that's basically the plan of this Thunderous, just be able to click knock versus their team. They're not going to go Aloe, which is the only thing already knocked on their squad. So just a great play here. They got to the Redditor, which is the Slowking. Yeah, and they do show to not be heavy duty boots, which is nice. I didn't know at this point, but we get a nice free knockoff on them, which means we get rid of the Black Sludge. This Pokemon's going to be taking damage every single time it comes in, and of course it's a regen, so it's going to be able to get it back. But if we get another spike up and maybe 3 layers, then we're in a great spot. I do end up clicking U-turn here. 99% of the time they click Chilling Reception here, or Chilly Reception, but if they click like Toxic, or if they click some sort of attack, then it's really hard for me to choose what to go into. 1 second. So I choose to swap out here. Petron's super free because I do have the Patea Berry, so I mean I should be in a good position no matter what. Even if they want to click like a Psychic Noise, it's not too big of a deal, since you know this item is there for this purpose anyways. They do choose to Chilly Reception out, which is fine for me. I don't really care one bit. They do potentially get back in like the Pheasantipity if they want to continue that game. They can go to like the Sand Slash, which can't have Slush Rush, so I have to be mindful of that if they're like Sword Stance variant, or Triple Axle, although from what I've seen so far, they're more defensive. But now I'm, you know, debating making the same play out to Thunderous. I could make an Iron Boulder play again, being pretty specially defensive, just in general. I'm also thinking about Gouging Fire because I can set up on this guy as long as they don't get double Toxic Chains on me. It can be a decent option for me. But I do just decide to go out to Boulder here, I'm pretty sure, because the Mighty Cleave now versus their team is super free. They don't have boots on anything, or They do have boots on this thing, but it doesn't want to take an attack, especially if I click Earthquake or something. Most scuffed recording of all time, as you know. But we're just clicking buttons versus them. They're going to take a spike on this aloe when they come in, not even at full health, which is really nice. And then, I mean, two banded hits are really strong versus them. Never mind, I'm scuffed. They're going to go into it at the end of the turn. We still get a free Mighty Cleave off on them. Make sure I keep them low, try to keep them more in a range of gouging fire, so they don't really have the opportunities to be able to get their regen up. We're just going to go for the Banded Mighty Cleave, and I'm just going to break through this Pokemon as much as I possibly can. They're going to flip turn, be able to knock me out, but not too big of a deal, because I am keeping them maybe about like 70-ish% after they come in after regen. Maybe even definitely lower than that after the spikes damage comes off, maybe closer to 60%, which is really nice for me. It's what you love to see, because we hate aloe in this household. It's such a stupid Pokemon, man. Man, I wish I could run this faster. Play it's fast. No, it's just gonna be like that. It is what it is. This game was incredibly long. We are not even a little bit through this. But they're gonna send out Hawkeye again. And we get the initiative here, which is nice because they click flip turn. So I can freely go out to Thundy since I am the Assault Vest. A little bit worried about Weather Ball here, but I should always be able to live and then just respond with a nice Thunderbolt versus them. But I assume that they're going to just U-turn out, which they do. They're going to take a little bit of chip. We're going to get our nice initiative back on them. I know they're not going into Aloe. I don't think that they're going into the Sand Slash here. I don't think makes very much sense on a T-Bolt. Let that thing take more damage. I'm assuming it's going to be the Redditor, which does come out here. Slowking. We're going to get a little bit more chip on it. Make sure that they can't stay up at full, since we get the spikes plus the U-turn. So Thunder is really putting in a lot of work, and it really did so much for us in this matchup. I mean, it was the MVP for sure here. But I can go out to Samurott, and it's just a free spike versus them now. It's incredibly free. Yeah, I might lose my Samurott. I'm not sure if I knock them out, especially if they're... No, they're not Culber. We already know that. But if I miss Ceaseless, it can be really tough for me. But, you know, if I do hit it, then we get a second spike up versus their squad, and I'm just in an amazing spot at that point. Since I think it should probably knock this guy out, even if it doesn't, leaves them incredibly low so that they can't even, like, switch into anything next time. So they're going to try to preserve the health on that Pokemon. I'm not going to be full when it comes in, but they go out to Hawkeye here. I really have to hit the Ceaseless, and we do, which is very, very nice. We're going to do a lot of damage to this guy, and I could click Sucker Punch here. It wouldn't knock out the Torn, but it would do quite a lot of damage, bring it pretty low. But I'm assuming that I can get my Samurott into position to be able to get up my third spike later in the game, which will be really nice just to keep everything down. Basically gets rid of the Regenerator on the side when I have all three up. And at this point, I'm fine even with two. I mean, I'm very happy with it. I'm going to go hard out to Thundy here. As they click U-turn again, that's totally fine by me. They can bring in the Redditor if they want to get some extra HP on that Slowking, but they're going to be forced to swap anyways eventually. And they're not going to be able to get that much health back. Just a T-Bolt from this guy might be enough even. Or a Dark Pulse if I had that. I don't know if I do. Knockoff U-turn T-Bolts. What is the last? I think it's Grass Knot. They had some sort of ground Pokemon that I was a little bit worried about on the bench. I honestly do not remember because this battle was over a month ago. Honestly, it was like 2 months ago. Maybe not that long ago, but it was a pretty long time ago that we got these. And yeah, you guys know that I'm 0-4 so far. I had not played a game going into this, so I did not have any of that same sort of pressure to try to get one win. So we'll see what happens. They go out to the Redditor here, which is, I mean, what I expect. They take 2 spikes, which is nice, so they're never going to stay at full. I guess technically they can never be, you know, that's just how it is with hazards. It's a really interesting scenario here. Obviously I'm down 5 Pokemon to 6, but I'm in a much better position, like much more demanding. And I do have a couple Pokemon that are, you know, still pretty hurt. But I have everything I need to really to win this game. Thundurus is very important for dealing with the Torn. It's really either got to be my Thundurus or the Gouging Fire. That just goes ham through the end game, and both of them can definitely do it. It's really nice that they don't have rocks on their side to threaten me like that. I can go out to Petrunt here if I want. It's nice even if they click Psychic Noise, because like I said, I have the Psychic Resist Berry. They do Chilly Reception out again, which is totally fine. I don't really mind it. We get in a position where we got Petron in front of anything on their team is a winning position for me, as long as we don't get crit or anything like that, which already happened to me once. Well, in like what, week 3 was that? 2 videos ago. So hoping it doesn't happen again. Obviously that's not what I'm thinking in the moment, but you know, that's what you guys can think that I was thinking in the moment. Man, some of those battles are pretty tough. There are a couple things, you know, even in stage 1, a lot of tough stuff, but we're pulling through. It doesn't matter. We're gonna try to win this one. What are they doing outside? People running around. But they bring in the Pheasantipity. I have Malignant Chain just in case they want to swap out, try to predict my double, since I did it a couple times. They get fully paralyzed here, which, you know, would be nice for them to get a little bit of damage off on me, potentially get a burn with a heat wave. But I don't mind it. Like, I don't think it's that important. Even the burn wouldn't really do too much. We do get a crit, which does a lot. I mean, it's very nice for me. They do not end up getting a burn there. I can swap out on this turn on the very obvious Roost. If I get Samurott in, I can get a 3rd Ceaseless Edge off, which could be pretty important. But I'm also a little bit worried that they could choose to attack on this turn. If they do Heat Wave, I should be able to live it with an Assault Vest at 74, but it's a little bit scary. So I'm going to go out to Thundy because it puts me in a position where I can play knockoff versus them anyways. Or just T-Bolt or just U-Turn. It puts me in a good position where, I mean, really on this turn, it's got to be a 50-50 of, do I knock off this guy's boots? Or do I click U-Turn as they go out to the Slowking, and then I get a 3rd spike up? So it's really a 50-50 that is really kind of interesting in this scenario. I think I clicked U-Turn there, which is the right move here. They really don't want to lose the boots on that Pokemon, or else they just lose the game on the spot, kind of to Petron at least, because the Petron can wear them down so easily. Oh no, we just clicked Knock, so I unfortunately didn't get it. It is what it is. I probably should have clicked U-Turn there because I know how important it was. But I'm just going to T-Bolt into this guy now. I don't mind getting off that extra damage, especially if they're just going to choose to Chilly over and over and over. So I do catch them on that one, and they don't have a good Pokemon they can go out to. Potentially the Sand Slash is what they can do, but I can go out to Petron, at least live any 2 hits from them, even with like the snow and everything. I think I should be able to live basically everything. I obviously go Petron here so they can't spin. They are heavy duty boots, so I'm assuming it's a lot more likely that they're going to be able to you know, go for a rapid spin here instead of something like Sword Stance plus EQ that can be super scary with the Slush Rush activated. So like a triple Axle here, I'm sure we should be able to live 2 at this point. You know, it's a Petrunt. They have Icicle Spear instead, which is going to do a decent amount of damage if they hit 5 versus me. They only hit 2, but you know, that did not that much damage. It only did 50 and 2. I mean, what did it? Yeah, 50 and 2, that's 25 each. 10 hits wouldn't have knocked me out. Yeah, it would have been just out of range of knocking me out, which is really nice. So we could have always recovered and blah, blah, blah versus them. And now we get to a position where they're in, like this guy, we're in front of him. He doesn't want to tear water because then I can Toxic him. But also doesn't want to let damage get on that guy, or else Gouging Fire just runs through their team for free. So they have to save their Terra. They have to, you know, save everything. They're going to Iron Head here, hoping for a flinch, because they can just potentially flinch through me here. If they flinch me and then get like 5 hits and a crit maybe on the Icicle Spear, they can knock me out. They're doing what, 25 per? So yeah, they do 125 if they hit 5-ish. And they hit 4 and they don't hit 5, luckily. It would have been a roll potentially to knock me out there, but we get the recover off, which is really nice. That would have been really tough. If Petron goes down there, we probably just lose the game on the spot. Because I can't, you know, couldn't bring in Gouging Fire in that scenario. Not without that thing damaged. They're going to go out to Prince here. We're just going to get a little bit of Shadow Ball damage off on them. It's a nice play not to recover there at least. The snow is going to stop. I do wish that I got some damage while I could. Even, you know, maybe trading Petron for a Shadow Ball. You know, a little bit of Shadow Ball chip on the guy would have been nice. I do get a special defense drop as they roost. So, I mean, We're just trading them at this point. I was counting them, even though I was sitting in bed here, sick, just like dead the whole time, but I was still counting them. I promise. I don't know how many they've used so far, probably just 2. As they go back out to Jack Frost, I really should just click Shadow Ball there, but we Malignant Chain just in case they want to switch into Hawkeye or something like that. Tough play for me, but it forces me to click Recover just in case that they are gonna, go for 2 more big hits on Icicle Spears. It's just a little bit scary. They are wasting my PP, wasting my recovers, wasting my Malignant Chains and whatever, but it's not too big of a deal. They also reset their special defense drop, which doesn't really matter to me. I don't think I care that much at this point. But now we're at full, they're at full. I have the opportunity to swap if I want. It can be pretty nice, especially if I'm able to get Gouging Fire in, but I kind of want to do it for free. But I could go like Samurott, sack that thing off, and then go Gouging Fire, try to set up, 1 or 2 Dragon Dances and be in this game for real. But I'm not going to rush it. We're going to play patient. We're just going to hit them. They're going to Heat Wave me back. Hopefully no burn, because that would be tough. They don't get it. We're just going to keep spamming Shadow Ball over and over versus them for quite a while here. We're just trying to get special defense drops, trying to force them to swap, trying to get the full paras, which we do. We get everything that we want on this turn. And I'm just going to Shadow Ball again. If they go back into Jack Frost, we're going to get damage that we need. If they go Hawkeye, then it's like a 50-50 on whether I should have Toxic'd or not. I say do choose to go Hawkeye this turn. So very frustrating because a Toxic on this Pokemon basically would have won me the game. Really just puts me in a position where I can't lose. Or I guess it makes it a lot harder for me to lose. I'm going to Toxic this turn as the U-turn. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just always going to try to Toxic this guy. That's why we have it. I know they're not Covert Cloak. We saw that in like one of the first turns when we got a Spadef drop on them. And I'm assuming that they're Boots. Although I don't have the rocks up to check that. Doesn't really matter too much for me. But I just want to make sure that, if they give me the opportunity, if they want to knock me off, I don't care. I would just rather get a Toxic off on them. But they're going to swap here. I think they probably just go back. No, they go out to Jelly Bean. Interestingly enough, they're going to go out to the Jolteon. They're going to get poisoned here, take a ton of spikes damage. This might have been their other Terra Captain. I honestly don't remember. Maybe. But this is a scary Pokemon for sure. They are, confused and everything, so it's not as scary. But I mean, it still can be a threat because it's faster than everything on my team. I don't have any Scarfers. I only have like Sucker Punch on Samurott, which won't knock them out here. I'll need just a little bit more chip damage, like 2 more turns of Toxic. So we're going to go out to my Grimmsnarl, basically sacking this Pokemon off as they do double out, which is fine with me. I don't mind that one bit. They're going to go back out to the Aloe, which is their best play here by far, being able to get basically back up to full or as full as they can. So, I mean, not the #1 best position for me. They did force a nice switch for them, because if we did go out to something like the Samurott, then we could have got our 3rd spike up for free there. I guess we do get a little bit of leftovers recovery, but we can't do too much versus them. Potentially, Drain Punch, get some more HP. We could, try to Thunder Wave this guy. We could bulk up if we wanted, but everything gets beat out by Fez. So I'm going to get a little bit of chip damage off on them here. And then if they want to swap out into, Hawkeye, try to get health back or anything like that, I can T-Wave whatever wants to come back. It can just be like the Fezandipity and beat me. I don't want to let them get a free swap on a flip turn, which they don't go for some odd reason. But, trying to get like a full para there. They do end up going back out to Prince. Not too big of a deal. They're not using the Roost there, which is nice for them. But, 1 knockoff on this guy is really what it's going to take. I also still feel fine having my Thundy in the back and the Gouging Fire. But this is just, the long game, the long con. Obviously, we're in a pretty crappy situation here where the Pecharunt switch is very, telegraphed. Out of my Grimmsnarl, I want to keep that thing alive if I can, because it is kind of a free swap to Pecharunt. But it does give them an opportunity to fish for a burn or something. They Moonblast, so probably the wrong play in that scenario. They get the special attack drop, which doesn't really matter for me. But we're going to choose to double out here into Thundurus. Just trying to force another knockoff or U-turn situation where I can get that 3rd spike up and just get a little bit more progress for us. Really, just it's a game about progress, you know. They're gonna heat wave me. It does a decent chunk. No toxic chain or burn is super nice. And now it's a 50-50 again. We already lost one of these. I'm gonna go for U-turn here because I think that they just value the heavy duty boots on this Pokemon too much, and they should. They super should. There's no reason that they should stay in here, as they do swap out, which is great for me. It is out to the Redditor, so we get this U-turn off, and we should be able to get our third spike up for free and threaten to kill on this guy. So it, you know, potentially forces them to sack off the Jolteon if they want. They could go out to like Hawkeye or something, but then they're potentially in range of a Sucker Punch or going to be taking just too much damage for them to really be able to heal up. But we just get ourselves in a great position here. I also do have the knockoff in case they want to keep this thing alive and go out to either Jack Frost or go out to the stupid Pheasantipity. I should have clicked the Ceaseless Edge here for sure, but knockoff is still nice versus this guy. Just make sure if they did have a nice item, then it would be nice. But you know, they have the heavy duty boots, so it was a misplay there. It is 100% accurate though, so maybe, you know, just a little bit worried about hitting my moves there, which is fair. Try not to let the luck impact the game too much. And both things that are like I'm super worried about, I'm taking the spikes damage, being the Aloe and the Slowking, the Galarian Slowking, are already pretty chipped anyways. None of them take a single hit from this Thundurus, which is really nice. So it's free to bring out. They're going to go out to Jelly Bean, which is going to be the Jolteon. I do have an Assault Vest, so I should be able to live any one hit from this guy anyways. Probably best case scenario for me would be to just switch out to the Grimmsnarl. I do not need it in this game at all. It gets beat by a lot of stuff on their team, and this Thundurus is so important. But I'm just going to let it take a crit Hyper Voice, which was a bad option for me for sure. I really did not play into the luck factor there. If they just get a Hyper Voice off on me, it's not too big of a deal. But a crit one really puts me in a tough spot because I can't even take a flip turn from Aloe anymore. I can't take any attack from anything. I can't switch into a Heat Wave anymore, anything like that. So it's really tough. But now I have options. It's either Grimmsnarl, who always eats one hit even though they're +1, and I can Drain Punch damage back, or I go Samurott, which I can click Sucker Punch. It's like a 50-50. Do I want to predict them swapping out into like Pheasantipity or something? And if I click Knockoff on that, then it can be a great scenario for me. But also this thing is just a big threat. It'll die to spikes anyways. Do they want to preserve the sack? What do they want to do here? I'm just going to click Sucker Punch. I think it is the best play. And it's a very scary play for them to swap out. They've seen me click Knockoff, so if they go out to something like potentially Pheasantipity and it gets knocked off, the game might just be over. Same with Jack Frost. And if they go out to the Hawkeye and they take a Ceaseless Edge, they're probably in range or close to in range of a Sucker Punch at that point. I could have just clicked Flip Turn as well. But they're going to go out to the Hawkeye here. I mean, it's tough for me to switch in now because Thundurus can't switch in. I can't take a U-turn from them. I can't take a Hurricane. Maybe I can take a U-turn. I can probably take one U-turn from this guy. But it'll be close. Too close for comfort, you know. They're going to knock off on my swap to Grimmsnarl. Totally fine. Do not care one bit about the leftovers. Takes away a little bit of the longevity, but gives me options. I can swap back out to Thundurus here because of this Pheasantipity swap is so free. I don't know if they want to click U-turn when I have the potential to T-Wave them there. So we're going to double out. They're going to go out to Prince, and I'm going to force another 50-50 scenario, knockoff or U-turn. We've won one, lost one, but I didn't really capitalize on the one that I won. So it gives me another opportunity to you know, bring it back. I knock off just instantly on this turn because no matter what, I basically just get a free kill no matter what. They don't have their immunity to electric anymore, so I can just spam Thunderbolt the next turn. So either I knock off this guy's boots or I get a kill on their squad, which is nice. Or I mean, technically I could get damage on Jack Frost, which is just as good as a kill because it means that Gouging Fire just probably wins on the spot. So this play was amazing for me. It just forces so much progress. They do end up switching here, which is like the worst thing. And they go out to Hawkeye, which is also the worst thing that happens. They make the one play that actually, you know, saved them a little bit. And I am forced to swap here. So I guess I didn't force as much progress as I was hoping. But I can, you know, kind of set us up in the same situation. Maybe not the exact same, because it's a lot more 50-50s and everything. But they're going to knock off again. Knockoff definitely would knock me out, especially with a crit. They're going to crit me again. Not like it matters. But I'm just going to be super duper aggressive, and I'm just going to double go for it. I mean, might as well. I feel like I am in a position where I really want to. I really have to make this double. They go out to Aloe, which is really nice because it just gives me the free kill or the free damage, whatever I want with my Thunderbolt here, which is great for me. So, I mean, they make a nice neutral switch. I think it probably would have made a lot more sense to go Pheasantipity again, but they don't want to put themselves in that position where, yeah, oh, Thunderbolt is also an option that I can click and just get a free kill versus them anyways. So we're going to be able to take out the Aloe here. So Thunderous, every single time it's came in, is just forcing something on them, forcing a lot of pressure, which is something that has been really, really nice about this guy. Really should have used him in my other games. I don't even know if I brought him to a single other one. He was so good in this game. Aw, man. That's just my blunder, you know? But it is what it is. So now they have an, you know, opportunities. Hawkeye easily can come in here, though. They know I'm not scarfed or anything. Or at least I'm pretty sure they know at this point. I can always make the Grimmsnarl play. I don't care if they U-turn out. I don't need Grimmsnarl, so if they U-turn out and then potentially go out to the Fez, like Moonblast, I can sack it off. I can go Petron. I can do whatever I want at that point. As they do show off the Heat Wave, which is some nice tech. Maybe trying to get Burn off if they could. I'm just going to T-Wave here. You know, if they want to be aggressive, click U-turn or something like that, then I get the T-Wave off. Makes it so I can't Toxic them with a like Malignant Chain or anything with Petron, but I don't care at this point. I've done pretty good. I also did expect that they might just want to switch out to like Jack Black or something. Their whatchamacallit, their Sandslash. Sorry, just a lot to keep up with here. This has been a long game, and there's still a good chunk left. We're 30 minutes in, and there's still like 15 minutes left. So we swap out to Petron. They get a Moonblast off, not too big of a deal. Special attack drop also doesn't really matter because I can just pivot around. Ugh, bad voice crack. But basically, I mean, I can get Gouging Fire in on this guy and have the potential to win. I really want some damage on that, on the Sandslash, though. I would really love it. I was hoping to catch them on a potential swap, like trying to get aggressive. So I click Shadow Ball. They do U-turn. I don't know if I'd seen U-turn from them before. So it's Moonblast, Roost, Heat Wave, U-turn. So no funny business, nothing like that. No Calm Mind or anything. Although we should have seen it by this point. They bring in this Pokemon, the Galarian Slowking, which I don't care too much about. Obviously, I'm -1, so I'm not going to be able to knock them out from this range. But they also can't knock me out. They can, you know, put me in a bad position where I can't recover if they click Psychic Noise here, which might be pretty bad for me because they can potentially bring in the Sandslash the next turn. So that's like the scariest part, you know, but it's forcing the end game. You know, I'm up 5-4 right now, but how much am I really up is really the question here, because all my Pokemon are super duper low. We're getting a nice Shadow Ball. Special defense drop doesn't matter here as they Psychic Noise, which is the tough scenario here. They're not going to be able to knock me out or anything, but it can be scary because now, like, if I knock this thing out, Sandslash comes in, they can Iron Head me. I don't have the option of clicking Recover on this turn, so it could just be a better option to swap out here. If I go Samurott on another Psychic move, I'm immune to it and I get a great option. I do choose to go out to Thunderous, being very aggressive here. If it's something like Chilly Reception, then it's just like a fine double out, as they do double, or they do switch as well. So this is just a great play because they went out to Prince, catching, you know, trying to catch my extra Shadow Ball into them. So I make another great play here, which honestly, I don't even know how I was so insane in my head to make that. And then they stay in on the time that I should have knocked. If I knock there, I probably just win on the spot with Petron, which is super duper tough. But now I can go out to Petron if I want 2 Heat Waves, even like a crit burn. I mean, 2 crits with a burn would probably knock me out here, but they just Moonblast anyway, so it doesn't even matter. I just can't get like, incredibly unlucky, which I've already been, so it's not going to happen. We're going to be able to get our recovery, which is what's really important here. I don't have my item anymore, which is fine. The Slow King's super low. They miss a heat wave. Tough. It is tough, but the odds are not really in their favor to hit so many heat waves when they're paralyzed the entire game. Although I have been getting kind of lucky with special defense drops. They hit a heat wave here, do a decent chunk there. They're not going to do quite enough to be able to, really punish me that much. We're going to get another Shadow Ball, force them into a roost scenario, so I'm forcing them to use a little bit more. I really just want to force them to switch out into Jack Black. I don't know if they know what they have to do in this scenario. It's a really interesting end game because I can win at any time with my Gouging Fire. They really have to, like, they're playing on the back foot the entire time, because anytime it comes out, I can just win. And I get the special defense drop, which is really nice because it forces 100% progress on this turn. Are they going to switch out? Are they going to go into Hawkeye? Are they going to go out to Jack Black? Are they going to stay in and let this thing take a lot of damage? At -1, I'm going to do like 50% to them with a Malignant Chain, which is why I choose to go for it this turn. I don't think they're going to give me Jack Frost. I keep calling it Jack Black. I watched the Minecraft movie the other day. But they decide to go into it. Just a bad play by me. But I think that there's potential for them to swap again here. Just trying to reset your special defense drops. It's been a long game. Probably turn the mind off a little bit here. Just, trying to put yourself in a position where, you're a little bit frustrated with the special defense drop. You just want to get it off and then be in a similar position. They end up going to Hawkeye here next, which covers both options basically. I was never going for a Toxic on that turn. So just a great play by them. I was hoping that they would make a poor one there, but they make a great one. There's just been so many switches in this game. I've pulled so many aggressive switches, which is not really my playstyle usually. We go Grimmsnarl, we dodge a Heat Wave, which wouldn't have knocked me out. Gives me a chance to T-Wave them if they want. They're going to swap out, obviously, like they have every single time. Just very frustrating. Maybe it would have been in their best interest to give me a para on one of these Pokemon on the Sandslash, on the Hawkeye, just so Petron isn't as much of a threat with it. But then it also means everything on my team outspeeds it. So it's just a very complicated game here. It's really hard to tell what's going to happen. And they're going to go Moonblast into my Petron, or in this scenario again, I mean, there's so much more time left in this game where we're just trading back and forth, chunking each other, waiting until we PP stall each other out of our recovery moves. They don't have Aloe, so they can't Wish Pass anymore, which is great for me. And they use a Roost when they didn't need to use it that turn, which is nice. Maybe a little bit telling. But also, I'm running low on Shadow Balls, so I might have to start mixing in some Malignant Chains. I get a nice big crit, which forces more progress. A nice para as well. But it means that they're not running low on PP on any of their moves, which is kind of interesting. So, is it really that great for me? Yes, it is, but also, we get very lucky with a crit into a Spadef drop, into a miss, into a full para and everything. So just a great, sequence of events here. I'm going to Shadow Ball in case they want to give me damage going out to the Sandslash. If they're max Fizdef, then this damage will actually be really nice. So just trying to get some damage. If they go Hawkeye, it is what it is. But finally, we get any sort of bit of damage off on this Pokemon. I get to gauge its stats a little bit more, see if they're more specially defensive or physically defensive. We get a nice Spadef drop as well, as we do a ton of damage. I think that thing is physically, full physically defensive. Try to beat my Gouging Fire with Terra Water. But I think at +2, I think I should just straight up be able to knock that out if I'm ever able to get 2 hits off, or 2 Dragon Dances off, which can put me in a great spot. I am just gonna click, what did I click? Toxic there, I think, in case they wanted to go Hawkeye here, trying to predict me to swap. They end up going the Redditor, which is a good mid-ground for them there. Not a Pokemon that does too much for them in this game anyways. So they catch my Toxic. They can probably, switch on this Shadow Ball that's coming out this turn. But I do choose to switch out to Samurott here, just in case we see the Psychic Noise come out from them. If they go out to the Hawkeye or something, I can also just get damage off with Sucker Punch if I need to. try to bring it back into range. They do swap. If we see Prince here, it's actually pretty solid, but we see Hawkeye. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to get damage off on this guy with Sucker Punch? Do I want to preserve my Samu? I do think that preserving Samu is nice. Grimmsnarl is still not good here. They don't have any setup options, so I don't need it. I can always just like force the same sort of turns. They do U-turn here, so if they hadn't missed the heat wave back earlier, they would have actually knocked me out there. But you know, we live in. Grimmsnarl's live in. It's not able to do anything to their team. Does not touch the Pheasantipity at all, which I didn't think was going to come to this game in general. I did think that Petron just beats it 1v1, which it does in this scenario. But you know, it is what it is. We're still in a pretty solid position here. We go out to Samurott just in case they do something crazy. They do end up roosting, which is fine for me. I can force a knockoff 50-50 here, which is great. I can also just ceaseless. I can click flip turn, which is what I'm leaning towards doing. I haven't revealed it quite yet. So if they go like Hawkeye or something, getting the flip turn damage off is going to be really, really nice, which is what I expect to happen. They do end up going after Hawkeye, which is great for me. Wish I had Stealth Rocks in this game, because the game would have been over so much sooner with Hawkeye taking 25% every single time. But we get 25% on it with a flip turn, and I'm able to go actually out into Gouging Fire this turn. It gives me an opportunity where I can set up 2 Dragon Dances in this guy's face and win, because I have 252 HP basically. I can always take 2 Hurricanes as long as they both do not as long as they both don't confuse me. Even if they do, I have outs. But I can freely click Dragon Dance here. I have Lum, so I always get past 1 confusion. Don't have to worry about that. After 1 DD, I don't even know if I'm faster than them with this variant, so I needed 2 anyways, but I force this progress. If they swap here, then I just win on the spot basically. They're gonna knock me off, so you know, good play by them trying to get off the Lumberry that they didn't know I had. Maybe they were expecting like a choice band or something. We're gonna get the Dragon Dance off. I need to not get confused by a Hurricane from them this turn, or Bleak Wind, or you know, whatever. I just cannot get confused. And if we don't get confused, then we should just win the game. Even if we do, I have a chance. I guess it's Bleak Wind, so we could get speed dropped, which would be tough. We do get speed dropped, so you know, obviously I'm not faster than them. Or +2 attack at this point in time. So now I just need to hope to not get speed dropped on the next turn or not get crit. It's a really interesting scenario. They Bleak Wind and they miss. If they hit, then they would have need a speed drop there, and they would have probably just won the game with Hawkeye. Maybe I would be able to stall it out with Petron, but I'm not quite sure. We are faster than them. Now. We are +2 speed. We're +3 attack, and we just sweep through their entire team with Earthquake plus Heat Crash. I can do a Morning Sun here. Probably a little bit of a stupid option, but I'm trying to preserve my health in case of a scenario against the Sand Slash. But we do avoid another one. If they hit me and speed dropped me, then we just needed them not to, you know, crit me or speed drop me. Honestly, at that point, I didn't even need the extra speed, so I could have Heat Crashed the next turn, so it didn't really matter. If they hit me and speed drop, I'm still +1, so they would need to speed drop me again, and even then I'm faster than their entire team. Yeah, Gouging Fire was just gonna win in this game anyways, right? There's nothing they can do. They go after Prince. We know it's not Shuckaberry, so at +3 Earthquake always knocks this guy out. Worst case scenario, they can't even touch me really. Moonblast is just about nothing. A Toxic could be annoying. We're gonna be able to one-shot that guy. And then they do have the Terra Water Sand Slash in the back, but we got a little bit of chip just to make sure that it's in range of a +3. I think it was in range of +2 Earthquake at this range anyways. But man, this was a war of attrition. My throat hurts just commentating this game. I do hope you guys enjoyed. They're going to Terra Water just to boot here, but it's not going to matter. Gouging Fire is just going to be too strong for them. But man, just such a long game. Thunderous MVP of this one for sure. I mean, it picked up like 1 KO, maybe. It picked up the Aloe KO, but it really did so much in this game. I know Gouging Fire is going to pick up, what, 4 of them here? But it's all on Thundy. For being able to switch into everything, for so many 50-50s with knockoff or U-turn, knock off some boots, just be really annoying. It was really nice for me here. They're gonna bring in what their last Pokemon is, the Slow King here. And we're just gonna be able to click Earthquake. Heat Crash also would knock them out of this turn. We're gonna get a 5-0 victory, way closer than 5-0, obviously. And just a great game to Goki, man. You guys gotta check him out. Really fun battle. One of the better battles I've had probably in my entire time playing draft. Just like a great, super high level battle. Felt just like an incredible match. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please be sure to slam that like button and subscribe. Trying to hit 500 by the end of the year. But yeah, that's going to be about it for me. See ya in the next one. Peace out.